Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Have You Played, where I'm going to show you some spoiler-free gameplay from a selection of older games and give you my thoughts on them. In this video I'm playing the Handsome Collection edition of Borderlands 2, the remastered version of the 2012 looter shooter that re-released as part of the Handsome Collection in 2015. Borderlands 2 has been one of my favorite games for a very long time. It was one of the first games I bought on Steam, and between 3 platforms and 2 different versions of the game, I've probably played through at least 20 times from start to finish. Even with some faults here and there, there's still a ton to love, and it offers a lot to new and old players alike, so let's just get into it.
Welcome to Pandora, kiddos.
Borderlands 2 takes place 5 years after the first game, and starts off with you playing as one of 6 Vault Hunters, mercenaries lured to the planet of Pandora by Handsome Jack, but things take a turn when you're tricked and nearly killed by Jack in a train explosion. After the train crashes, you're rescued from near death by Claptrap, and from there, you join up with a group of resistance fighters who aim to stop Jack from opening the vault and taking control of the planet with what's inside.
You're our only hope of stopping Jack.
Borderlands 2's story and writing are both among the strongest in the franchise, with humor and emotional beats that still land pretty well, along with a great cast of new and returning characters, and while some players may not love the jokes, characters, and comedy, they definitely still work on me, even after beating the game so many times.
They say Jack's drilling operations are causing those earthquakes. That, or your mom just got out of bed. Zing!
Borderlands 2 is a first-person shooter-looter game that can be played solo, with friends, or online with strangers, and has some fairly strong RPG elements and a whole lot of weaponry. In the Handsome Collection, you get to play as one of 6 Vault Hunters: Axton the Commando, Zero the Assassin, Maya the Siren, Salvador the Gunzerker, Gage the Necromancer, or Krieg the Psycho. Cosmetic customization options are light, but enough to make your character look unique to you, letting you make minor changes like adjusting their color scheme or head. You can play through the game by yourself, but the co-op gameplay is a pretty major part of the experience to me, with you being able to play in split screen or online with up to 4 players. Borderlands 2, as well as the pre-sequel, have what I consider to be the best matchmaking systems in the franchise, letting you browse through available games, see how many players are in each session, which missions they're on, and even what level they're at. It makes it super easy to find an active group, and lets you avoid one of my biggest issues with Borderlands 3, which is automatically getting put into a game with someone who's AFK, and not being able to switch out to another one manually. It is worth noting that even though this is the Handsome Collection version of the game, some of the quality of life features that were introduced in Borderlands 3 aren't present here, such as the ability to climb ledges, slide, and refill all of your ammo with a single button purchase. You won't miss them too much if you're playing this for the first time, but coming back from the latest entries, it's definitely something that I, and I'm sure other veteran players, have felt. Item management can also be a little tedious early on in the game, but once you start upgrading your backpack size and stay on top of selling your unused loot at vending machines, it becomes a whole lot more manageable.
Maybe this won't be so hard after all.
Speaking of loot though, combat in Borderlands 2 is all about shooting and looting, and it's incredibly addictive. The gun variety is massive, and thanks to the procedural weapon generation system, you'll constantly find new and ridiculous variations of pistols, shotguns, sniper rifles, grenades, and more. In addition to the weapons, each Vault Hunter has access to a unique action skill and set of skill trees, with 2 of my personal favorites being Gage and her buddy Deathtrap, and Maya with her Siren abilities, and they all let you customize your playstyle pretty heavily.
Let's make some modifications and you'll be good to go!
For example, Maya can specialize in healing co-op partners and restraining tougher foes, while characters like Gage and Axton can summon partners in battle to deal it extra damage.
Sentry gun primed!
Characters are definitely not all balanced equally though. Salvador is considered by many to be borderline broken with his dual-wielding Gunzerker ability, and Maya is a fan favorite when it comes to her co-op capabilities, while characters like Gage and Krieg require more specialized builds to be viable in late-game combat.
Tricky stuff.
With 6 classes to choose from, the ability to respec your skill points, and a massive variety of weaponry available though, there is plenty of room to experiment until you find the build that best suits your playstyle. Enemies have a good amount of variety, with the 3 main groups being beasts, robots, and bandits, and there's a lot of different variations in each group, such as EXP loaders, Goliaths, and Bullymongs.
Bullymong. Rubbish name, isn't it?
Bosses are also quite varied too, with some of them being regular-sized humans with larger health bars and damage outputs, and others being much bigger obstacles. Enemies have fixed levels based on what part of the game you're in, so unless you're skipping side missions entirely, you shouldn't really have any issues with the difficulty curves throughout the game.
Be careful, friend.
When it comes to DLC quality, Borderlands 2 is a standout in the crowd. Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep is the obvious star here, being a D&D inspired expansion that was so good that it got its own standalone game, even if it didn't turn out to be the best.
The handsome sorcerer's pet dragon appears! Surprise attack!
Some of the other expansions include Captain Scarlet and her Pirate's Booty, the explosion and wrestling theme Mr. Torg's Campaign of Carnage, and Sir Hammerlock's Big Game Hunt, which I'd consider to be the weakest of the 4 by a pretty large margin.
Danger! Excitement! Mustaches!
There's also a handful of seasonal mini DLCs that were included, a bunch of raid bosses that were added across the game, and of course Gage the Necromancer and Krieg the Psycho being 2 additional DLC characters to play as.
Dragon babes!
If you're playing the Handsome Collection edition of the game, you'll get access to all of this from the start, and in my opinion, it's well worth your time to play each one at least once. The cel-shaded art style still holds up really well, and being a remastered version of the original Borderlands 2 game, the Handsome Collection brings sharper textures and more stable frame rates. That said, not everything looks as good as I remembered, with some of the cutscenes being a bit choppy and having texture pop-ins, and some of the lip syncing not looking great.
That sounds bad.
Aside from that though, the voice acting is excellent across the board, and while your playable character doesn't have much to say, it doesn't take away from the overall experience. The music is also pretty memorable. They're not really tracks that'll get stuck in your head after hearing them, but as far as adding emotion and energy to the gameplay, they definitely get the job done, and listening to the soundtrack while writing this was definitely a bonus. The biggest drawback that I'd want to mention here though is that the split-screen UI is pretty poorly optimized. Even in two-player split-screen, the menus are cluttered, the text is small, and managing your inventory can be incredibly frustrating, even more so with 3 or 4 players. It's functional for sure, but the superior co-op experience here is definitely going to be online play, even with my being a pretty big advocate for couch co-op gaming.
So loud. So angry.
The game also runs well for the most part, even more so since this is a remaster. Load times are fast, and it's generally stable, but I did run into a few issues here and there, most of them being cosmetic in nature though. The opening cutscene had some dropped frames, some enemies warped oddly when Maya phase-locked them, a couple of invisible walls popped up, and some NPCs got stuck or started going in the wrong direction, though in this instance it was Claptrap, so I think we can just chalk it up to him being an idiot.
Apologies, but when Claptrap speaks, I feel my brain cells committing suicide one by one.
Aside from those and a couple of other small items, nothing else was an issue, and the Handsome Collection version of Borderlands 2 is still the best way to play the game as of 2025.
I gotta say, I missed the little hunk of junk.
Borderlands 2 remains one of my favorite games of all time, and the Handsome Collection makes it even better and more accessible to new players. Between the great characters, addictive combat cycle, fantastic writing, and ridiculous variety in weaponry and abilities, it's just hard to beat.
These children now know an ecstasy I can only dream of!
Playing through the Handsome Collection gives you the full package, complete with every DLC, 6 Vault Hunters to choose from, a nice visual upgrade, and of course, the pre-sequel is the other game in the collection. While there are some quality of life features that weren't added until Borderlands 3 released, it's still a near perfect game in my opinion, and I'd strongly recommend it to anyone even remotely on the fence about it.
Thank you. I will now attempt to murder you.
As always though, this is just my opinion. Whether you've just landed yourself on Pandora, or you've already fought your way to the vault, let me know in the comments what you think of Borderlands 2.
Come back and see me sometime, you sumbitch.
Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.
Face! Tired of waiting! No more waiting! Need a face shot! Boom! Squish! Yay! Shoot me in the face! In the face! Do it! Shoot me in the face! Face! Now! Bullet in the face! Want him! Need him! Gimme! At the sound of the bell, it will be face shooting o'clock!